guys, welcome back to Majestic Loon. My name is Greg, and I'm here with Thy3G and MNUFC TV to do a sort of Minnesota mid-season award thing. Because why not do an awards in the middle of the season? But first off, how are you two doing on the back of last night's Pookie party?
I'm doing good. I mean, it was awesome to see Pookie score his first goal, so I'm ready to see some more. Hopefully this weekend against LAFC.
Woke up feeling weird because I have, as long as I've watched the Loons, no one has been that composed scoring. So I didn't have to have like an anxiety attack while they were breaking away. So it felt good.
Yeah, no, yeah. I was like, oh, we actually have a striker that actually can score those easy chances now. Um, let's get into the defensive player of the year. I'm gonna go first name I'm gonna throw out. Everybody knows him. I'm gonna go with Boxy.
Yeah, I was thinking the same thing. I mean, we saw last week against Portland when he wasn't in the starting 11 how abysmal our back line was, and how huge he comes up just by stopping just a lot of the basics, crosses, just getting to put his body and stuff, really shutting down a lot of key offensive attacks for the other team. He just shuts it down. And we saw against Portland how when he's missing, the other team, if they have a player like Driussi or someone, they just run rapid. If we just aren't like Debassi, obviously hasn't been up to form recently with only a handful of minutes, so he wasn't in his best form like we've seen in the past. So it's just missing Boxy really sucks for our defense for sure. So I'm with you, Greg, on that 100%. It has to be Boxy.
Yeah, and I didn't know Driussi played for Portland.
Oh, Trucy. Yeah, I meant against Austin FC. My fault.
Yes.
I meant I mixed up the green teams
oh no,
the week before.
You're good.
yeah,
You're good.
You guys know what I meant when we were
yeah, I
playing
know that
Austin.
you can't talk also about Keith and his that weird pose he did.
Yeah, him being gone that game. Sorry if I mixed up
Oh
the
no,
green
I'm like,
teams.
oh no.
To be fair, they
Yeah.
looked like normal Portland because Portland's been shit this year.
Yeah.
And Gabby, you have anything to say on boxing?
Yeah. I just like you said, Matt. The other team will just run through us if we're not physically stepping up to them because our defenders don't, or especially our center backs, don't have the pace to compete with these forwards. So I think Boxy, it just brings the physicality, and that really is his like key as he gets older. He's just like, no, I'm still gonna put you to the ground. So yeah, I wish other people would take notes. But Boxy, we need you. Please stay. Please.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know.
I think he really frustrates forwards too with that physical play. Like you said, it really just gets under their skin when he gets a little bit of contact that they're not really used to, and it kind of throws them off. You can tell they obviously we see it many weeks where Boxy goes face to face with a player usually half his size. I don't know what it is with those little guys. They always want to give him a nice 1-2, but I wouldn't step up to Boxy, man. He's like just a brick wall. But go ahead, Greg.
Okay. Quick fire. Let's go Tapias. I mean, I like him. I think he's been one of our standout players this season. I mean, played pretty much every single minute of every single game, except when he got subbed out last night. Hopefully, it's nothing too bad. Hopefully, he's still available on the weekend. But, if not, Debassi can come in, but who knows how long Debassi can go because you don't want Brent Coleman at all.
Yeah, that's for sure. We've seen exactly what happens when we lose a couple center backs. We have to go down to our depth pieces, which could have the good game here or there, but we don't want to have to rely on them for more than a game at a time or 30 minutes or whatever. But yeah, I think Tapias has been our best signing of the year. It was really exciting signing a center back as we've kind of needed one the last several years. And him coming in and he's slotted really good next to Boxy, and I think that pairing of them two has been outstanding. Before Ray and after Ray's gotten back, I think they've been good most games. There's been a off game or two where obviously we've had a stinker, but I think that's just the team in general. Here or there, we just don't show up for certain games, unfortunately, this year. But I think that's starting to change, hopefully.
Yeah, I would like to point out the March 11th Colorado Rapids versus Minnesota United game. I believe Boxy was gone on international duty, so we had the delight of having the pairing of Coleman and Tapias. Tapias did score the winner in that game, but there's what, as I was analyzing the match for this video, one moment stood out to me is Brett Coleman is so slow. He just doesn't have pace. And yes, I'm probably slower than him, whatever. But he basically, the forward breaks through. Coleman gets caught out. He points to his man, said, you know what, Tapias, your man is here. My man's here. I'm going to go get your guy. You go get my guy. Because Coleman just got beat and Tapias was like, all right. And he was on it and he stopped that goal from, or no, I believe he stopped the goal from happening. He might not have. Coleman's also got off on the box. We can see Tapias likes to get up, get really tight when he's defending them, especially in the air. And I think that's one thing that our team has been lacking is defending set pieces. So I'm really happy we signed him.
Yeah.
And okay, DSC. I think he showed. I think he shows his quality, how much we missed him, and I think in the Gold Cup, I think the U.S. game, he showed the quality he has, pulling off amazing saves that we see almost every single week. And finally, John Herdman, giving him a chance because Borjan is going back to Europe with the injury, but also to get ready for the next European season. It's kind of like we're all like, it's time for Borjan to move on, give it up, retire internationally and give it up to Dane, start becoming number one for Canada.
Yeah, I think you make a great point. We saw in the Gold Cup how huge those saves were for Canada for that St. Clair was making. And it's strange that he hasn't gotten more chances for Canada, being that in the World Cup coming up in the 2026 that Borjan is gonna be like dust. So if they still want to throw him out there, I mean, I don't think Canada has a shot to do much. So they really should be trying to develop some of their younger goalies, especially with Crepeau out, right? I think for LAFC. I think he's still hurt. Which he had a really bad injury. So who knows what happens when he comes back and how he recovers. So St. Clair should be getting all the minutes he can for Canada, but it's no coincidence when he comes back, we get the clean sheet last night. He's just huge, and Irwin's an okay backup. He has the occasional good game, and typically we saw that in the past when he played for Rapids against us, he'd be standing on his head, which a lot of goalies usually do against us. But St. Clair just makes our whole back line, I think, so much better, relying on him to sometimes come up with that miraculous save where we don't have another goalie. I think Irwin lets maybe lets one in last night for sure. What do you got? What do you think?
I think I love Dane. Obviously, I think he's amazing keeper, and I wouldn't be shocked if he gets a bigger opportunity either in Europe or another league above MLS in the next, the upcoming season or the next season after that. He's phenomenal. He makes big saves. I would say this year he's been a little bit more inconsistent than I would like. I would say there are some, whether I think I can't recall any specific moments for Minnesota United, but I would definitely say something that probably stands out is that penalty that he gave up for Canada against Cuba, where it's some moments, whether it's just making a bad decision and then being like fuck and frick, and then having to deal with that and then giving a penalty. But once he gets more consistent, I think we've seen him. I think last year was a decent season for a really good season for him, and then the year before, I would love. I think he's starting to get back to that. I would love for him to find that form again, and last night was a really good sign of that. So love DSC. I hope he stays forever. He's not going to, but
Okay, let's go with our let's go quick another one. DJ Taylor, Kamar Lawrence, Eric Valentine. I think
Go ahead, Greg. Sorry.
I think DJ Taylor, I think he showed what was it? We picked him up. Did we pick him up from League
North
Yeah,
Carolina.
League One. And I mean,
Mhm.
look at I mean, I think he's arguably probably one of our best one-on-one defenders. Although he sometimes does get a little caught out. I think he's one of our best 1v1 defenders. Kamar Lawrence needed a kind of a replacement for Gasper. Maybe slightly a little older, but I think he still does. And then Zarek Valentine, I think his leadership ability plus his ability to play, on both flanks is quality.
I think DJ's been good since that was a good pickup. And he's been solid. I just think we need a little bit more. I think we have been creating opportunities, obviously, with the metric that I think we've created like third or fourth. We're best at creating chances in the league or something. We just don't finish any. But our end balls, I think, when we're crossing balls in, I think we need to be better at looking at where we have players in the box. There's so many crosses where we're putting a ball in and there's no one in that vicinity. Either that's up to the person putting the ball in, or we don't have enough people in the box. Maybe I think both Kamar Lawrence, DJ Taylor, and Valentine all kind of need to do better with their end balls. But I think the versatility of honestly all three, even though Kamar Lawrence mainly plays left back, we've seen DJ and Valentine play both left and right back. I think that helps a lot. But I think with Jiba, the unfortunate injury of him, I think we might need a little bit more competition with Kamar Lawrence, getting older, like you said. I'd like to see some more, like DJ Taylor is like a promising young player. I'd like to see another one like that maybe on the left side. But you make a great point with Valentine's leadership and MLS veteran presence he brings. That's huge in a locker room. I just hopefully would like to see maybe an improvement, maybe use a U22 incentive on one of those. I know we've been linked to some left backs and other players, but I'd like to see a little bit more competition in those areas in the future. But for now, I think it's definitely a solid area.
Do you think Paddleford could be a DJ Taylor S player where he's very solid, but he maybe doesn't come from a lot of hype?
I think we need to see more. I think we've seen some very good signs from Paddleford this year, and the step up from MNUFC 2 to MLS is like a huge step. And I think we've seen really, really good bright spots. And you bring up a good point with Paddleford. I almost kind of forgot about him, but I mean, him scoring his first goal the other night, which was sweet. It's just another good sign, even though the result wasn't the way we wanted to go that night. But I think if he develops, we might not need to look for another piece there. But I mean, if he keeps developing and we maybe, next year or the year after, maybe Valentine goes and we get another young left back or right back, or a right back in to compete with Taylor, and we have Paddleford with another young left back with Kamar Lawrence leaves, or if we keep Kamar Lawrence and have Kamar Lawrence and Paddleford with Kamar Lawrence's age, and then maybe Paddleford can ease into a handful of games with internationals with Jamaica. I don't know if Kamar Lawrence's Jamaican future is going to be end soon, if he's just going to continue to play for Jamaica, with players sometimes deciding to hang up international duty before their club careers. I could see a lot of international breaks, maybe, having Paddleford start in the future potentially, or yeah. So I think he could easily, but I think he just needs to continue to develop, and the trajectory is good, I think, so far. We'll just see, I think we'll see more of him this year. Maybe since we've seen a lot of them, it depends on what Heath and the coaching staff have seen. If they think we should see more of them and not spend money on another left or right back, but I think we should be seeing more of him. I think he's done enough to prove that he can contribute to the first team for sure.
Yeah, I totally agree. I'm a big fan of him. I do like the idea of bringing in a younger left back who could maybe make that step up sooner than him, because I do want him to have the proper time to develop and to be able to succeed. And I think if you force someone, you can see countless times that form is temporary, but like class is forever. And you don't, not that he's like, but if you push them too early and you break their confidence, it could just ruin the trajectory of a player. So I would like to see Paddleford get more time. I think Valentin is a sleeper for signing of the season. I actually would take his signing over Sang Bin's, and I know I'm going to get a lot of some flack for that, but I think our attack has so much power that just doesn't come through. And Sang Bin, he's scored a few goals. He's got an assist or two, but I think Valentin's ability for set pieces to be able to deliver the ball, to throw it further than anyone else on the team, to have leadership in the locker room, and to be able to step up. And he doesn't need to play every game. And that's what's really nice about having him, is he can physically and his form, he can play every game, but he doesn't seem to be not too unhappy about not playing every game. I like Kamar Lawrence. I love how him and DJ Taylor can get up on the field. I think they're phenomenal at it. But as you said, Matt, our crosses, it seems like Adrian Heath in the locker room is like, all right, boys, just fire him in there. One will make it. And it's like, no, because it's so easy for defenders to be like, all right, they're just going to whip it in and they're not going to care where it goes. So if we can just pack the box, they're screwed. So I would like to see a young left back come in, but I would also like us not to be afraid to move on from him. And I love Kamar Lawrence, but I wouldn't be upset if we moved on from him in a year or two.
I think I think you had was it the Tranmere Rovers League 2? I think that's who we're getting in. So defensive player of the mid-season so far. Who's your guys' choice?
Boxy.
Yeah, Boxy by far. And then we're going to get to the rest of them very soon. Okay, moving on to the offensive player of the year. List some names: Bongi, Mender Garcia, Fragapane. Can we include Ray, even though he only started his 4th game? Rosales, Sang Bin Young, Pookie, even though he's also played only 2 games, or started 1 and had like a 35-minute cameo.
I would have put Lud in there before I put Mender Garcia.
Got Lud.
Because our forwards, our strikers, I should say, have not been good at scoring, just getting chances. They just trip when the ball gets to them. But I think Robin Lud did more for the attack than Luis Maria and Mender Garcia combined. And Load has been out for season for quite a while now.
Yeah, he's. I think did he do it in the Open Cup game against Houston, or was it the 1-0 win against Houston? It was one of the games against Houston. He suffered it. He tore it in like the first half, and then like played the second half with a torn meniscus. Okay, offensive player of the year. I think, are we on conclusion? It's Bongi. About Bongi so far.
Yeah, I think Bongi has made a huge step forward from last year, and it's been one of our only dangerous pieces in the attack throughout the whole season before, and even now more with after Ray coming back. I think you've seen a little bit more danger in his attack. I think before, when Ray was gone, maybe felt like he had to do a little bit more. I think a lot of the attack felt like they had to do a little bit more, obviously, but I think Bongi's made huge improvements, and we've seen that in his goal tally so far, and some of the assists he's made. And I mean, he's lucky he hasn't had a couple more goals. Needs to work on a little bit of finishing, and we've seen that over the last month or so. He's been finishing a lot more of his chances. Like last night, that was an excellent finish with the fake shot and up in the top corner with 4 or 5 guys in front of him, including Steve Clark. So yeah, I think it has to be Bongi in my opinion. Honorable mention maybe like Ray, but like that's just because Ray is Ray, and he wasn't here for the first half of the season. So I think Bongi's got to have it with the whole first half of the season. But that's what I think. What do you guys think?
I completely agree. I think, like you said last month, his composure and finishing ability has really improved substantially. And I also think what has really improved this season that has helped them on the field is I feel like he wants to lead the team. Because you see he's willing to play defense. He's willing to play midfield. He's willing to just be anywhere. And I think that has helped them tremendously because he always seems to be in a position where he can either provide and passing, or he can provide help for his teammates. I actually have a stat that I would like to share with you guys throughout the class. Bongi is creating chances, as we know, because he is willing to also whip crosses in. I would like to see his crosses get finished more because his expected assists are 4x right now. He currently only has 2 assists on the season. So he is not just putting in goals, he is creating chances for his teammates. He has the highest expected assist rate on the team. And his stats should be higher, but we just didn't have a great squad around him. Bongi.
Oh yeah, no, I think both said, off season. I don't know what he did. Worked on his finishing has come leaps and bounds this year. His work rate, he's wants to attack, defend, kind of wants to impact the game in any way he can. I think it's just so amazing to see someone of him, and I think and then plus we all love the South African fans, when they're and the oh yeah, the celebrations he does. But yeah, no, I think Bongi. Okay, signing of the season: Clint Irwin, Valentine, Sang-Bin Young, Danielle Henry, or Timu Puki. I mean, like I said, Puki might be a little early.
I thought you said when you said Clint Irwin, I thought you were saying that was your pick. And I was questioning everything.
No. I personally think Tapias has got to be our signing of the season. I think he's played almost every game, maybe subbed off a couple times, but I think he's been in our starting 11 almost every game. So I think for signing of the season, he's been huge in the defense, stepping next to Boxall with the Dabasi injury. We definitely knew we needed a center back to start the season. I think he's done better than we've expected in a lot of departments. So I think it's got to be Tapias for me.
I completely agree. I think, as you know, we spoke about him under the defensive category. Tapias has stepped into a team that he got kind of pushed in fast because we didn't know if we were going to get him mid-season or if we were going to get him at the start. Did we have to buy out his contract?
I think
I
we had
believe they terminated his contract to his previous club.
Okay, because
But
I know that
I'm not sure.
we just wanted him. We knew that was our guy, and he stepped into a position where he's looked pretty good next to anyone you put him with, and that's a true sign of a good center back.
Oh yeah, no, I think Tapias has been amazing. Who is it? Mikel Barquis.
The worst
Injured.
5 minutes.
I think that's I think it's the worst Minnesota debut in MLS history so far. So I think we're all in agree that Tapias signing of the season, breakout player of the season. I think there's only one. We've already covered it. Wagagule a long way. Don't try to make me say that in a tongue twister because I can probably fail after 3 times.
Yeah.
Okay, so that, I mean, that's pretty much it for the mids. Okay, I just thought of one. Stop. Okay, the Minnesota meme of this season so far.
Paint me like those French girls. Paint me like one of your French girls. Adrian.
I think that one has to be the Heath Loungian shot. I think it was like right before kickoff with the Austin game.
I'm thinking about getting rid of my diploma just to use the frame for that photo because it is so good.
Oh yeah, no, I think, but before we go, anything else? Just words.
Yeah. About that, the 5 minutes. Okay. The worst 5 minutes of debut. I would like to see him get another chance. Maybe with the twosies to start, to kind of build up his confidence back. 'Cause I imagine it's got to be a hit to like the confidence. You're like really excited to make your debut, and then you dribble in midfield, and then you run back when it gets turned up when you turn it over, and then you think you're gonna make a clearance that's gonna win you the game or just end the game, and you end up heading it to their player who then scores to lose you 2 points. He's 21. I would love to see him play again, maybe next season, but I don't think we should throw away the whole player.
No.
But that's it's up there for meme of the.
Oh yeah, no, that okay. Gonna do it. I'll leave a link to each of their channels in the description below. Make sure you like the video, subscribe, and share. Yeah, and sign Eric Dick to a lifetime contract.